The Vriesenhof wine estate is a magnificent estate in the Stellenbosch's Paradijskloof. The owner, Jan Boland Coetzee, became a national hero as captain of the rugby team in the 60s and 70s. Furthermore, he's a qualified winemaker who worked for the renowned Gallonkop for some 12 years before he bought his own estate and started bringing quality wines onto the market.
This high mountain here, the Stellenbosch mountain and the Helleberg at the back, creating a nice environment for the wine.
Yeah.
And the vines, of course.
Yeah. You were a famous rugby player in South Africa. You were part of the Springboks in the end of the 60s.
Yeah.
Did you have to choose between sports and winemaking?
Well, I was lucky because it was an amateur sport. I mean, we didn't practice as much as the guys are practicing these days. I remember when I stopped playing, I was away for 12 weekends of the year, and I believe these days the guys are away for 45, so it's a big difference. My family came to the country quite some time ago. They arrived in Stellenbosch in 1678, and then in 1682 they moved towards the west coast, where I grew up. We've always been farmers, but one nephew and myself, we came to study at the university.
Was there a winemaking tradition in the family?
Yeah, sure. My grandfather and then my uncle. My dad was his third son, so obviously he had to go to high school and later to college, because it was tradition that the first two must scratch with their hands in the soil and the third one can fool around a little.
Yeah.
Jan is quite rightly proud of his estate and loves to take guests around it. Most of his vineyards lie to the southwest, with wonderful views over False Bay and Table Mountain. The wine matures in old oak casks in the cellars. Vriesenhof's tasting room is undoubtedly the most attractive of the wine houses that you can visit in the Stellenbosch area. Jan Boland Coetzee's wines are of the purest type, which is certainly no coincidence.
The philosophy is to work as closely as possible with nature, hoping that nature will be the dominant factor in the product in the end. So each vintage should first of all reflect the environment or that particular vintage, which means the soil, the wind, the sun, the rain. So what we're trying to do is to enhance those, let's call it natural factors.
To keep it as pure as possible.
Yeah. I mean, we've created, as you saw this morning, there's some trees in the middle of the farm, there's some trees on the northern side, some trees on the southern side, and that's for the guinea fowl to sleep in, because the guinea fowl from the northern side, they're moving to the southern side in the morning, and vice versa. So there's traffic over the farm all the time of animals, and they control whatever they want to control. I mean, we haven't sprayed for any insects for years and years now.
Jan markets his wine under 3 different names: Vriesenhof, Talana Hill and Paradijskloof. Even though the grapes they use for the 3 types all come from the Paradijskloof, they each have their own vineyard, with differences in subsoil, slope angle and microclimate. This ensures that the wines take on their own character and taste, something much appreciated throughout the world.
I suppose I've got very good agents in Europe, and as you know, the Europeans are the main consumers of wine in the world. I mean, 67% of the wines of the world are consumed in Europe, and I've got some good friends in Europe, so obviously it's going quite well in Europe, specifically in Scandinavia, Germany, Switzerland, and obviously Holland, where the language is again an advantage.
What's the most popular wine over there? Is it
At the moment,
Calista?
Calista is by far, yeah. Well, it's the Bordeaux grape varieties, obviously grown under the African sun, so but they still have a lot in common. I think the original name is from a Dutch guy, Mr. Vries, coming from Friesland. And as you know, Hof is a garden in Dutch, so I suppose it was Mr. Vries's garden in paradise, and hopefully I can keep it like that.
Yeah.